Okay, alright. Previously, we have seen the characteristics of the enzymes and also the naming of the enzyme and what is enzyme is what enzyme is. So now we will continue to the next part, which is on the factors that affecting the activities of enzyme. So as we know, alright, as we know, the enzyme, okay, is biocatalysis catalyst. Okay, so biological catalyst means it can speed up a reaction. All right, so when you can speed up a reaction, that means there are certain factors that will affect the rate of reaction of the enzyme. Okay, so we will see one by one here. Okay, there are four factors. So the pH, okay, the temperature, the concentration of enzyme, and also the concentration of the substrate. So there are four factors here that will affect the activity of the enzyme. So the pH, okay, since the enzymes are very sensitive to pH and temperature, so of course these two will be a very um, how to say, a very significant, okay, it will have very significant effect on the activity of the enzyme. As for concentration of enzyme and substrate, okay, this is because it's the substances that makes the reaction happen. So their amount, okay, when we say concentration means the amount of enzyme, amount of substrate that's present, okay, of course will affect the activities. Okay, these are the physical factors, and this is the inside factors. Okay, come. So let us see the first one. Okay, so pH, temperature, concentration, and then enzyme concentration. So the first one, pH. So how the pH affect the enzyme activity? So every enzyme, they will have their own optimum pH. Optimum pH means the pH at which the rate is fastest. Okay, so for the pepsin, okay, if you remember, pepsin is in the stomach. Okay, the best pH will be 2. Okay, pH 2, the best pH for the enzyme to react. Okay, for amylase, the best one is 7. Okay, it's found in the mouth and also the duodenum. Okay, the pancreas. Then trypsin is pH 8 to 9. Okay, a little bit of alkaline there. So in the small intestine. So we will see how. Okay, so if we were to draw out the graph of pH, okay, pH versus the rate of reaction versus the pH, okay, you will have different graph, okay, and for different enzyme. Okay, so that means pepsin 1 graph, salivary amylase another graph, then trypsin another graph. Okay, they can have some overlapping, okay, but they cannot go too far beyond the pH, or too acidic, not too alkaline. For example, amylase. For pepsin, if you have a neutral pH, the pepsin cannot work. Okay, the active site of the enzyme is spoiled. Okay, so we can see here each enzyme can only function optimally at a particular pH. Okay, in the range around the pH, of course, still can. Okay, but if you have too extreme pH, for example, if acidic, extreme for acidic will be neutral or alkaline. Okay, those are considered extreme pH for pepsin. So if that happen, okay, the active site will lose the shape, then it cannot form the enzyme substrate complex. Okay, and we said the enzyme is denatured. Okay, but the active site can be restored. The good thing is, if it's a pH change, okay, it can be restored when the environment reverts. For example, salivary amylase start from the mouth, correct? Okay, so at the mouth um, it can change or convert starch rice into maltose. So after that, you swallow your food. So when it reach stomach, okay, it will be acidic condition there. So amylase will stop. Okay, amylase will stop when it reach stomach. That means whatever leftover the starch that is inside the mouth, you swallow and then it haven't changed to maltose, it will stop. Okay, no more starch will convert into maltose in the stomach because the amylase activity stop. Of course, the amylase you swallow together, right? Okay, the enzyme. Okay, so what happened next is after the stomach, okay, the food, okay, the chyme from the stomach will enter duodenum. So duodenum is a place where the food now, or the partially digested food is uh, how to say, have contact with bowel. Okay, they will have contact with bowel. There is a bowel from the bile duct, okay, released into duodenum. If you remember your lower form, you have learned a little bit on digestion. So the bile is released into the duodenum. Now bile is alkaline plus acid from the stomach will make it a little bit, the pH will be about like 5, 6, 7, maybe a little bit of 8. Okay, so that salivary amylase still can do it works. Okay, when the pH is almost the same, it will be restored. Okay, almost back to the normal or the neutral, it can be restored. Then the amylase can do the reaction again. Okay, so it means that the amylase can when the pH is get back to the pH that is optimum for the enzyme can function again. Okay, now second, we will see the temperature. So how temperature affect the enzyme. So now we are looking at enzyme in the human body. Yeah, so when we see human body enzyme, okay, first thing you must know that human body, our body temperature cannot be too high. Okay, that means our body temperature is always maintained as around 36 to 37.5, so around that. So that is the best temperature for all the enzymes that is found or synthesized in our body. So that is the optimum temperature. Okay, 36, 37, a bit than that can, but not more than that. Okay, if you have 38, 39, it's very dangerous. That's why we say fever is very, very deadly. Okay, it can cause death and very serious injury. Okay, now after the optimum temperature, which is our body, let's say you have fever until 39 or 38. Okay, the rate of reaction will fall quickly. That means everything's in your body, the reaction, okay, will not function. Okay, so your body is just like suddenly shut down. Okay, so after that, what happened? What happened if the reaction is not happening? Okay, it means that the enzyme, the bonds that hold the structure, the active site of the enzyme breaks. Okay, when it breaks, okay, the active site will lose the shape. So when it loses shape, okay, so when it loses the shape, means it cannot bind with the substrate. So when it cannot bind, means no reaction. So remember, enzymes are protein, and proteins are made of monomers, and those monomers are held with bonds. Okay, the bonds breaks when you have heat, just like when you do experiment. Okay, you heat up something, or very easy, you can see the egg on it. Eggs are proteins. Okay, the white egg are proteins mainly. Okay, so if you give a little bit of heat to the white egg, it turns solid. Okay, imagine your enzyme, a little bit of heat, it turns the shape. When the shape change, okay, when you change the shape change, means you cannot bind with the substrate. So at 60 degree, the enzyme activity will stop altogether because the enzyme is denatured. Okay, it's down there. Okay, denatured. Okay, enzyme is denatured. Yeah. Okay, enzymes are denatured at the okay, it's missing. Okay, never mind. I will send you a slide, you can just see lah. Okay, the enzyme will denature at, so meaning to say after 60 degrees Celsius, okay, the enzyme cannot work anymore. Okay, the enzyme will not work anymore. Okay, so next one we see. Yes, this is the one. Okay, the graph. Okay, So if you have lower temperature, 0, so the reaction will be very low. Okay, still okay, the shape is there, but it doesn't work fast. Okay, maybe it's a bit of the movement, the kinetic of that substrate and the enzyme. Okay, but it still have that enzyme there. So when you increase the temperature slowly to the optimum, so you see optimum is the highest rate of reaction. So you compare here. Okay, so the rate of reaction is the highest, so meaning the reaction happen the fastest. Okay, at the higher speed. Okay, so rate of enzyme activity will increase when the increase of temperature. Okay, until the optimum temperature. So but you see here from C to D. Okay, just a little bit of change in the temperature. It's about like 40-45 maybe. Okay, so that means if you have your body temperature increase a bit, so you see the activity stop. Okay, so when it reach D, the stopping point, okay, means no good. Okay, so the enzyme will denatured. Okay, denatured. So if the temperature keep on rising, the enzyme will be denatured. Now it's different from the pH. For temperature, if the enzyme is denatured, okay, denature, it will not go back. Even though I cool down your body again, okay, it will not be good. It needs time to produce new enzyme. Okay, new enzyme in order to carry out the reaction in the body again. Okay, so that means if you have very fever, yeah, not until 45 lah, and I don't think people can survive at 45 degree. Okay, if the body temperature is 45 degree, is very hard to survive already. Okay, let's say it's 38, 39. So 38, 39, most of the enzyme is denatured. Okay, in the process of going become, okay, denatured. So if the body temperature is not bring down, okay, it's not bring down as fast as possible, so more enzyme will denature. So the problem is when the enzyme involved in the nerve, then it will cause permanent damage to the body. Okay, so that's why it's very dangerous. So but if 38, 39, then you take medication and then you bring it back to 37, okay, you will still feel like weak, and then it's no more energy because of the enzyme is not producing, but slowly a few days you will recover. So that shows that your enzyme is being rebuilt. Okay, it's not that when the temperature drop, then you will suddenly feel like nothing, okay, or at your best again. Okay, it will not be like that, because when you have fever until 39 or 38, sure your enzyme already denatured. Okay, so you have to rebuild again. Now the next factor, substrate concentration. So substrate concentration and enzyme concentration, they are very related. Okay, they are affecting each other very much. Okay, so let us see the first one. So if we are talking about substrate, right? Yes, substrate concentration. So if I increase the substrate, so meaning to say enzyme is we make it enzyme constant. When we see one factor, the other three factor must be constant. That means the temperature constant, pH constant, and then enzyme concentration is also constant. So to make it easy to explain here, I assume the enzyme concentration is about 10. That means there is 10 molecule of enzyme, for example. Okay, for example only. Okay, so 10 enzyme, 10 molecule enzyme, 10 enzyme molecules. Okay, then if I increase substrate, increase means at first I have 2 substrate, so the 2 substrate will bind to the enzyme, alright, and then you get 2 product. Okay, for example lah. Okay, then another 2 substrate come in, then 2 product. So that means your concentration of substrate is 2. Okay, let's say you increase your concentration of substrate to 7. Okay, of course just now you have 2 substrate, every minute you have 2 product only, but now if you have 7 substrate, every minute you can have 7 product, because there are 10 enzymes to react. There are 10 enzymes, so whenever you give whatever number of substrate that come, okay, they can just bind to the enzyme and get your product. But let's say your substrate, okay, you add out until 10, okay, the maximum, okay, maximum 10, okay, because there are 10 enzymes, so that's why I give you maximum 10. So let's say I have 10 substrate, then 10 enzyme, but let's say I have 10 product, okay, 10 product, but let's say again I add some more substrate, but now the enzyme concentration is the constant, so I have 10 enzyme, I add the substrate until very concentrated, 20, okay, 20 substrate. So at one point, even though you have 20 substrate, okay, but only 10 enzyme to be bind to, okay, so it will not increase, okay, the rate will not increase, that the addition of substrate will not increase the rate of reaction because the constant enzyme become the limiting factor. So what I want you to know here is the limiting factor. So if I have 10 enzyme, okay, even though I add the substrate to 20 or 200 at a particular time, okay, the rate of reaction is still 10 product will be produced. Okay, I cannot have more than 10 product if because there is only 10 enzyme. I can reuse the enzyme, but it have to wait for the 10 enzyme to finish the reaction, only it can use again. Okay, so that is how we understand. Okay, so that's why the graph, okay, is going up. Okay, if I increase the substrate, okay, the rate reaction will increase. So if the substrate is 2, so rate is 2. If 4, there is 4, and so on. But when it reach, let's say this is 10, so it has 10 only. Okay, but the reaction will be maximum, and this B, starting from point B, become constant. This is the limiting factor, and then the limiting factor is due to the concentration of enzyme. Okay, so you can just read here lah, because all the active site of the enzyme is engaged. So we have this constant. Okay, you see here. See, you have 1, 2, 3. This yellow one is the enzyme. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So 2 substrate. So 2 lah. The reaction is 2. So this one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is all occupied. So the highest already. So you still have your substrate, but it doesn't have the free enzyme to react with. So you increase some more, you see the substrate is still more, okay, but the enzyme is still the same, okay, so it cannot increase the rate of reaction. Okay, so the last one is enzyme concentration. The same explanation here. Okay, if the 3 other factors we make it constant, meaning to say this is enzyme concentration, right? I have substrate, okay, substrate concentration constant. Okay, same explanation actually. Okay, so when the concentration beginning, when the concentration enzyme increase, there are more chances for the enzyme substrate to collide. Collide means they combine, collide, they hit each other and then they collide and then they get the reaction. So because there is not yet limiting factors. Okay, but when more and more enzyme is added, okay, so this is normal. Okay, when you have when the beginning, okay, when you had substrate, let's say substrate is 100, okay, so you add 1, so 1 reaction, you add 2, 2 reaction, 3 enzyme, how many you add, you will be linearly increase. Okay, it increase because the amount of enzyme that you add in, okay, it will increase the reaction proportionally, okay, linearly. Okay, but what happened? Okay, so this is increasing. The increase in the enzyme means that the number of enzyme molecule available is also yes, the more active site is available, so it increase linearly lah. Okay, yeah, but there is one condition here. Okay, so if there is a how to say, limiting factor, okay, if the amount of substrate here is limited, okay, amount of substrate here is limited, that means just now I said plenty of substrate means it will just go on. Okay, but let's say substrate, for example, you don't have enough food, okay, you don't eat, okay, so even though you have a lot of enzyme, but it will become constant. at one point, yeah, just like the graph of the substrate concentration just now. So that one you have to take note lah. Okay, it's a bit of a think out of the box, huh? So that's all for the factor. So we will stop here. Thank you. Okay.